Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Wednesday, November 5, 2025. And in the news this evening, fire destroys house in Falmouth. Residents of Falmouth breathed a sigh of relief Wednesday morning when they realized that an elderly, physically challenged woman who occupied a house on 3 Queen Street was not at home when the dwelling was razed by fire. According to reports, the woman had been relocated ahead of the passage of Hurricane Melissa, a move that may have spared her life. Firefighters were kept busy battling the blaze of unknown origin, which completely destroyed the structure. The incident occurred about 8 a.m. Up to publication time, the estimated cost of the damage had not been determined. The incident occurred even as firefighters, assisted by members of the Jamaica Defense Force, continued clearing blocked roads across the Trelawney in the aftermath of the powerful hurricane. Rifle among 2 illegal firearms seized in St. James. The police in St. James seized the 2 illegal firearms, including a rifle, in the community of Wales Pond on Tuesday. According to a report, the police were acting on information and went to the area where they conducted a search and the weapons were found. An M4 carbine rifle with a magazine containing 33 5.56 cartridges and a Power 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 29mm rounds were found by the team in the operation around 9 p.m. No one was taken into custody, but was found wrapped in a red and white bag in an abandoned building. Forensic scientists close to revealing blood source in Maitland trial. A forensic scientist on Tuesday moved closer to disclosing whose blood was found inside the Constable Noel Maitland's apartment in July 2022 after the policeman's social media influencer girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson, went missing. Donaldson, who was last seen on July 12, 2022 at the Chelsea Manor apartment complex in St. Andrew, where Maitland lived, was reported missing by her mother, Sophia Lugg, the following day on July 13 that year. Her police boyfriend Maitland was arrested in relation to her disappearance. He was subsequently charged with murder and preventing the lawful burial of a corpse and is currently on trial in the Home Circuit Court in Kingston. The forensic scientist has told the trial that when the items which contained the blood, which were taken from Maitland's apartment to the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine, they were swabbed and those samples tested. Swabs taken from Sarah sanguineous stains on the underside of brown fabric mat and on a left Crocs sandal. Swab was taken from brown stains on red and a black Puma left sneaker and the brown drops on brown sheer drapes at the apartment, the witness told the court. The witness stopped short of revealing whose blood was found on the items as the matter was adjourned until Thursday. The revelation won't be made on Thursday, however, as the forensic scientist will return to the witness stand on Monday. Another witness, a representative from a local communications provider, is expected to take the stand on Thursday. Earlier in the trial, the 7-member jury heard evidence that DNA samples were taken from Donaldson's toothbrush as well as from her mother and her father to see if the blood found in the apartment belonged to her. Maitland's attorney at law are Chadwick Berry, King's Counsel Larry Smith, Christopher Townsend, Sanjay Smith, and Casey and Kennedy Sherman. PNP's Dwayne Vaz accuses former MP George Wright of hijacking hurricane relief supplies. Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Central, the People's National Party's Dwayne Vaz has accused the former MP, the Jamaica Labour Party's George Wright, of commandeering a shipment of hurricane relief supplies sent to the constituency on Tuesday. Vaz painted the picture of what he described as a case of political victimization in the distribution of relief supplies in the aftermath of the devastation left by Hurricane Melissa, which slammed into the country at Category 5 strength on October 28. Vaz was speaking during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. He charged that Wright, whom he ousted from the seat in the September 3 general election, played a central role in diverting relief from persons it was intended for. Speaking after Prime Minister Andrew Holness had made a nearly 2-hour-long speech in which Holness gave the preliminary estimate of the damage caused by Melissa, Vaz said, "I know the Prime Minister stated earlier in his presentation that there is no intent from the government to have any unfair or politicized benefit. But there was a situation on Tuesday in Westmoreland, and even after I spoke to the minister, Colonel Charles Jr., the minister reached out to me this morning to let me know that a helicopter was coming down with food supplies from the ministry. According to Vaz, after the helicopter arrived, it was a total chaos down there. He explained that what I can tell you is that before the helicopter came, the former MP Wright and his team was there with trucks and stuff. There are videos of everything being loaded in those things and taken away." Vaz told the Prime Minister that the thing that you're trying to avoid played out on Tuesday. He was quick to point out that the minister had no part in it based on my conversations with him because he directly spoke to me and I had a team that went there. But what we realized happened, somebody obviously communicated with the former member of parliament. What really happened is that a particular distribution has now been labeled as being political because everybody who went there would have seen that a form of politics being played out. Vaz sought clarification on how distribution of relief aid will be carried out in the future and suggested that an adequate presence of the security forces be put in place where supplies are distributed and that the coordination is stepped up. He said, "If the MP is in charge, we will coordinate with the local team at the ministry. At the NIS office, we will speak with the manager, for example, and work out the way we will distribute because somebody has to lead it, and in this case, you have the trusted member of parliament to say, I'm not going to send it only to PNP communities, but we are Jamaicans and we will be distributing it equally across every community that we know needs assistance. We don't want what happened on Tuesday to ever happen again because, as I said, it left a bitter taste in the mouths of many of the citizens. Persons have been calling me. I'm always on the phone. People texting me, asking me what is really happening." The member of parliament said he understood the questions being asked because what would have shown up today, it would seem as if the former MP, who is now the caretaker, was the person who was in charge today on spot for the distribution of the items, and we don't want that to be in the thoughts of the people because we know that is not supposed to be the case. Brandon Hill inaccessible after landslide, says police. The police are advising members of the public that Brandon Hill in St. Andrew is currently impassable due to a landslide. Motorists should avoid the area and use alternative routes where necessary. Policeman dies after collapsing at work. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is mourning the sudden death of one of its members who collapsed at work and later died in hospital. According to police reports, around 7:45 p.m. on Tuesday, Sergeant Davian Bennett was on duty at the Elledson Road Police Station in Kingston when he collapsed. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Colleagues described Bennett as a bright and hardworking member of the force, noting that he had been promoted to the rank of sergeant in April. The JCF's chaplaincy unit is providing support to those affected by his passing. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.